Hey there, rose lovers. Today I'm at Home Depot checking out their selection of bare root roses. I'll walk you through all the different types of roses that they have, and then we'll go back to the grow room and we'll talk about different types of roses so you know exactly what to choose for your own garden. Hey y'all, it's Amanda and this is my Texas Zone 8 garden. And before we dive in, be sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share this video with a fellow gardening friend. So it's mid-January and I can't believe it's already time to start looking at roses. And so I'm just about to walk into Home Depot and check out their roses selection. I also heard that they had peonies and clematis. Okay, so I am at the Home Depot in Wylie at 544 and 78. For those of you who are also shopping in this area, and they've still got all the plastic on their roses. Now I will say there's a lot of music going on, so I'm probably gonna have to do a voiceover. But they looks like they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 big, huge things of roses, and it looks like the pricing is approximately $16.98 per rose, which is definitely up from last year. But let's take a look and I'll point out the different varieties for y'all, and then we'll see if there's any particular variety I'm looking for. I have a list of roses that I want for my garden, and so we'll see if they happen to have it here. Okay, so this first variety is Chicago Peace, which I have in my backyard. Mine has a little bit more of a yellow tone to it. Next is Mr. Lincoln, and I have this one as a tree rose. Really pretty. Here's an Olympiad. Never heard of that one. I've never grown that before. These are all grade A. It's good to know. This is a Dolly Parton hybrid tea. Hybrid teas are typically grown for cutting, which is cool. This one is a climber. It's called Climbing Blaze, and it looks like it has smaller blooms. It's ideal for fence or trellis. And these are big root stalks. Now, you can tell by the bulbous parts right here that these are all grafted roses. So they don't have like a true root. Their root is a different, like all of this down here is a different rose, and then they graft on this rose to the top of it. These tend to be less expensive, but in the future, they could revert back to their past, to their original rootstock, whatever this is, which is typically a red rose. Next, we have another climber. This one is called Climbing Pinata. And roses typically require 6+ hours of sun. This one is a John F. Kennedy. It's pretty white. Iceberg. This is a great rose. This is kind of a smaller one, 2.5 to 3.5 feet. Smaller variety. And just to kind of take a look, so they've got like packaging around them to keep them moist. You can plant roses right now at this point in time in our area. They love the cold. And you can even see the little buds coming up. This one right here is a Double Delight hybrid tea. Okay, I like a variegated one, Sentimental. I like that they've marked if it has a strong fragrance or not. I think that's good. Sunsprite, which I've seen many times before. Love and Peace hybrid. All right, Black Baccara is a favorite of mine. I don't currently grow it in my own garden, but I love using it in the past for different wedding designs that I've done in the past when I was a florist. This climber is called Royal Gold. That one's really pretty. I would like some more yellow roses. Blaze we looked at. This one right here is Climbing Joseph's Coat, and looks like a wide variety of colors. That's lovely. Oh, that would be so pretty in the summer. Sentimental we did. Lagerfeld. So that looks like a soft pinkish lavender tone, which is nice. And then royal gold again. And of course, I'm right under a speaker just to make things more interesting and fun for me. Okay, this one is marked flower carpet. So it's a ground cover rose. Looks very cool. Flower carpet pink supreme. So it says its height is 30 to 36 inches tall, but it's also about 36 inches wide. Interesting. It's another flower carpet rose. This one is flower carpet yellow. And I don't see the price on these guys. Another one, this one's really pretty. It's called Amber, flower carpet amber. This one is scarlet. It's interesting that they say they're carpet, but some of them are kind of taller. All right, here's another landscape rose. This is by Vigoro. These are $20. This one is called Dancing in the Dark. Another Dancing in the Dark. And this one is called Alfred Sisley. All right, next we have a peace rose, and I have a peace rose in my garden, which it looks like this is absolutely lovely. Another peace. Alfred Sisley, which we saw. This one is Julie Andrews. It says it has 2 plants. So these ones that are $20 have 2 roses in there. It's kind of cool. Now you can see that this is much smaller stalk here than some of the other ones we're looking at, but look how big that one is. These are big. So you got to look for it. It's got to have that on it. Here's the Julie Andrews as a single, and that one is $20. So interesting. So definitely be aware of that when you're looking to make sure that if you're getting one with 2 or if you're getting one with 1. So more Alfred Sisley, more Julie Andrews, and those are all the same down there. And some of those are Vigoro. Interesting. Okay, I got tight in here. I'm like squeezing my stuff. These aren't actually like technically out, I don't think. So this is more the flower carpet, and we've looked at all of those varieties. Here's one called Ring of Fire. It's pretty. We did Dance in the Dark, Alfred Sisley, and Julie Andrews. We looked at Peace. This one is Midas Touch. I mean, look how big the rootstock is. It's good size. Chrysler Imperial. I'm a sucker for red roses. Sunsprite, we already looked at. Midas Touch. This one says Miss All-American Beauty. It looks like a kind of a deeper pinkish red tone. It's really pretty. Sentimental Olympiad. Looks like we looked at all of those. Definitely want to look for quality stock. Something that has a little bit of green on it is always good. You don't want like dead branches like this. Those can also be clipped off as long as there's good stuff on there. It's nice and green. These look like really strong cuttings. It's very exciting. Okay, over here we have Mr. Lincoln, and I've already got that one. Showbiz, which is pretty. It looks more like an antique rose. See the centered open? That's really pretty. It's a floribunda variety. Chicago Peace. Looks like somebody has already made their way in here. And let's see what was so popular. So there's already 3 of these gone. And it's a climbing rose. Golden Showers climbing rose. That seems like a terrible name for a rose. Sorry, y'all. That's super inappropriate, but interesting. So somebody came in and really wanted that one. I'll put up what it looks like on the screen. That's really pretty. All right, Iceberg, which we saw too. We like that one. It's a good classic. And this one is called Cherry Parfait Grandiflora. And a lot of them say it's ideal for cutting flowers. I think, did we look at Love and Peace? I think we did. Sun Sprite we did. Here, this one is New Day. A little bit of a lighter yellow tone. It's pretty. Pinata Lagerfeld we looked at. I think that this is Lagerfeld too, yep. Hot Cocoa, that's pretty. Kind of a deeper red-brown tone. And then we looked at Miss American All Beauty, Chrysler Imperial, and this Cardinal. This one is new. Cardinal Hybrid. Okay, this looks like a lot of the same. Iceberg, Cherry Parfait, Peace, Sun Sprite, Midas Touch. Yeah, this looks like completely the same setup. So they do have a lot of each variety, with the exception of that one climber that obviously somebody really, really wanted, and they dug out a whole bunch of them. Okay, I'm seeing, here's the Eden climber over here, and I've been wanting to add one of those. It's like a nice strong stalk right here. Definitely grafted. You can tell by the big old bump there. And the grafts do okay in our area. There's some areas where you need to put the graft below the soil line, but they do fine in mine. We don't get cold enough for it to be like a massive issue. Lots of Cara down there. Lots of Eden climbers. Okay, I think we haven't done over here. Climbing Joseph Coat, we looked at that one. Pinata, Climbing Blades. Here's Climbing New Dawn. That's lovely. Really pretty. Guy's 8 to 12 feet tall. This one, Zephyrin Droin. I've seen people mention this one quite frequently. This is a massive climber, 15 to 20 feet. I would like a really big climber. And then Blazing, Climbing Blaze again. New Day, Gold Medal, Cherry Parfait, Love. That's a new one. That's pretty. I like the lighter petals and then the deeper, lighter on the back and deeper on the front. Let's see, Climbing Blaze, Lagerfeld, Perfume Delight. I haven't seen that one. It's pretty. It looks like we've seen all the other ones over there. I'm also checking some of the sides because there are some roses tucked into the sides, so I'm just checking to see if they are any different than what we've already seen. I think I got through all of them, y'all. Okay. So what I think we're gonna do is I think I might get one or two, and then we'll go back to the house, we'll hang out in the grow room, and we'll talk about some different varieties of roses. We'll talk about the difference between some of these hybrid teas, floribunda, climber, just so we can educate ourselves a little bit about what type of rose we're introducing into our gardens. Okay, just for reference, they do have quite a few other plants out, mainly winter annuals. Everything's on carts because we're expecting a really massive freeze coming up this weekend. Like today is Tuesday, it's gonna be in the 50s today. By Friday, it's gonna be in the 70s. And then come Sunday, we're gonna be in the teens. So we're gonna go from the 70s to the teens. So everything's on carts so they can easily roll them inside. I don't see any peonies at this particular Walmart. There is another Walmart I can still check in my area, but definitely no peonies at this point. And I did hear several people say that theirs already had peonies and clematis, so I'll have to keep my eye out. Okay, really good selection. I suggest getting your roses before they get all picked over. You can keep them inside. You can just keep them in a place where the roots aren't gonna like get freezing temps over and over and over again. They can handle the freezing temps, but these have just been potted up, so they haven't created this like big root system yet. They've got a base root system. And so basically, I'll probably be planting these out in a couple of weeks. We have a really big cold snap coming through that's like harsh. I believe it's supposed to affect the entire United States. So I'll be planting them up after that, and I'll do a video on that. However, I wanted to take a few minutes to talk about different types of roses because I felt like this is something that was like really confusing to me when I first started growing roses. Because you look at the rose labels and they're all like shrub roses, floribunda roses, like what are all of those? So let's talk through some of those. And then I also want to make a few suggestions on roses that are really good for Zone 8 in Texas. Okay, first on the different types of roses, we have hybrid tea roses, which is what you're going to see most often out and about. And they are the epitome of a classic rose. Hybrid tea roses are known for their large single blooms on long stems, making them ideal for cutting and floral arrangements. And they were definitely created for the floral industry, and then they started being sold to the public. Their bloom habit, they produce one flower per stem, so one long stem with a flower at the end, and that's it. Notable features, highly fragrant and available in a wide range of colors, and that is definitely the truth. Their care needs, they require regular pruning and maintenance, but reward with elegant show-stopping flowers. And I have several hybrid tea roses. And among rose people who are really into roses, hybrid tea roses are not as sought after as some of the older varieties because these have just been bred and bred and bred and bred, which is understandable. I like a mix of all different kinds of roses, so I like having some hybrid teas mixed in with my other roses. Okay, next on the list is floribunda roses. They are beloved for their clusters of small to medium-sized blooms that provide a continuous display of color throughout the growing season. Their growing habit, they produce clusters of flowers on each stem, creating a fuller look than hybrid roses. So you're going to have a stem with like a cluster of 3 to 5 roses at the end. Notable features, they're less formal and more compact than hybrid teas, and making them great for mass plantings or for borders. And care needs, they're easier to grow and more disease resistant than hybrid teas. And I do have some floribunda roses as well. Next on the list is grandiflora. So we've got hybrid roses, floribunda, and now grandiflora. And grandiflora is the combination of hybrid tea roses and floribunda roses. So a hybrid between hybrid tea and floribunda roses. Grandifloras are combine the elegance of hybrid tea blooms with the cluster bloom habit of the floribundas. So they produce large, showy blooms, often in clusters. Their notable features include that they're taller than both hybrid teas and floribundas, making them excellent for the back of the flower bed. So if you see a grandiflora, that might be excellent for further back in your flower beds. Their care needs, they need pruning to maintain shape and size because they can get quite large. Next on the list is my personal favorite, and that's climbing roses. These roses produce long arching canes that can be trained over arbors, fences, and trellis for dramatic effect. With their blooming habit, can provide single blooms or clusters depending on the variety. Their notable features, some varieties bloom once per season and some others are repeat bloomers. I prefer repeat bloomers. One that's currently really popular is Ladybanks. Everybody's really into it and searching for it. It only blooms once a season and only for about 2 weeks. And that's it for like the entire year. Care needs require support, structures, and annual pruning to maintain shape and encourage blooming. Okay, next on the list is shrub roses, sometimes referred to as landscape roses, a diverse group of roses bred for hardiness, disease resistant, and low maintenance, making them ideal for landscape design. Their bloom habit often produce an abundance of blooms in a bushy, compact shape. Notable features includes earth-kind roses, which are perfect for gardeners in Texas Zone 8. We'll talk a little bit more about earth-kind roses in a moment. And their care needs are minimal care compared to other rose types, making them a great option for beginners. Now, shrub roses aren't often used for cut flowers. However, I do believe you can cut on them. I enjoy cutting on them. They work fine. They're just not going to have really long stems. Miniature roses are next. These tiny roses mimic the form of larger rose varieties, but stay small, making them ideal for container gardening or as edging plants. And miniature roses have kind of been on the rise in popularity. Their bloom habit has compact bushes with small, dainty flowers. They are available in a wide variety of colors, and some are highly fragrant. And care needs requires consistent watering and protection from extreme heat or cold because they have much smaller root systems, so the plant can be damaged a lot easier. Okay, and then last on my list is a very popular rose variety, and that's English roses, also spoken of as David Austin roses. And they are known for their old world charm. English roses combine the fragrance and full petaled blooms of antique roses with the repeat blooming nature of modern varieties. Their bloom habit, large cup blooms that flower repeatedly throughout the season. Notable features, exceptionally fragrant and romantic in appearance, and slightly higher maintenance, but worth the effort for their beauty and scent. So it's usually high petal count in these cupped English roses or David Austin roses. I don't believe I have any David Austin at this point. Maybe someday, we'll see. I'm cheap and they tend to be a little bit more expensive, but they are lovely. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 7 different types of roses. And you can save this or you can jot some of this information down for when you are out and about shopping for roses, just as a reminder to yourself what each of these varieties mean. I highly suggest before purchasing a rose that you look it up on the internet, see if it'll do great in your area. Just look at different characteristics, growth habits, maintenance, and stuff like that before you purchase. Okay, so I ended up with 2 varieties. The first one is an Eden climbing rose, which is a very popular rose right now. I'm really excited to have it. I'm really excited about the color, and I think I'm going to be working it over the arbor that had the cantaloupes on it this last year. And then the other variety is the Zephyrin Drohen climber, and this one is really big. It's 15 to 20 feet tall, and I think I'm going to be working it over the entrance to the shade garden. I have on one side I've got America climber rose, and I'm going to put this one in the other side, and hopefully they will cross and cover the whole thing in roses, which would be absolutely lovely. Okay, real quick before we're done, a few recommended varieties for Texas Zone 8. Some of these I have, some of these I do not have. First one being Belinda's Dream. It is a Texas favorite for its heat tolerance and diverse resistance. I have it. It is lovely, lovely medium pink color. It smells like fruit. It's a wonderful flower and very, very durable rose. Next on the list, it's Earthkind roses as a whole. So you would just Google Earthkind roses for Zone 8 or whatever, and you're just going to look at this whole selection. It's a selection of roses that are exceptionally low maintenance and resilient, and they do well in the Texas weather. So I have a couple of different Earthkind roses. Highly suggest that you look those up as well. Next is an Iceberg, which we actually saw at Home Depot today, a stunning floribunda with beautiful white blooms. I believe Iceberg is available in a climber as well. Next is Mr. Lincoln, which I have that one, a classic hybrid tea with fragrant red roses. The red roses are big and beautiful, love them. And then last is Ladybanks, a climbing rose that thrives in the Texas climate. It's been extremely popular in my area this last year or so. People have just been trying to search it down and stuff. I used to have a Ladybanks rose, and I removed it because it only bloomed for 2 weeks out of the year, and it's a monster. It's a big it's a big plant, and I didn't want that much uninteresting vine for such a significant part of the year. Those 2 weeks of blooming wasn't worth it. Now, for me, that probably is a location issue. I had it right at the front of my house. It was a big like showstopper spot that only gave me something for a couple of weeks a year. So it blooms tiny, tiny little bitty roses, but they are highly sought after. So if it is something that you're looking for and you see it, go ahead and snap it up. All right, I hope you guys enjoyed doing a little shopping with me and talking about some different rose varieties, and we will continue talking and learning about roses over the next few months. February is a really big time for caring for roses in the North Texas area, so I'll do a whole video on caring for my roses. I'll do a video on planting up new roses. There will probably be more than 2. I have my eye on 1 or 2 more, and so we'll look at adding those into the landscape as well. Drop your comments and questions below. Every time you guys comment, it helps grow my channel so much, and if you don't feel comfortable leaving a comment, just drop me an emoji below letting me know that you made it to the end of the video and that you say hi. And be sure to check me out on my social media outlets, including Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. If TikTok gets banned, you can find me on YouTube Shorts. As always, she's a mad gardener or a decorator or anything else that she wants to be. Thanks, y'all.